Summarizing. This one was a bit harder. Who can tell me what kinds of things do you look for when you're locating summaries? All right, more than one source maybe. Good. Can anyone give an example of a summary you found in our academic dishonesty article? The second sentence? All right. The estimated proportion of undergraduate students who cheat ranges from 40 to 80%. Maybe the second part of that sentence. So look at that sentence and then look at, but McCabe's studies conducted on more than 60 campuses found that 70% of all undergraduates admit to some cheating, and most campuses are probably the most accurate. So what we're doing when we're summarizing, do you want to just, yeah. So what you're doing is you're taking the main idea of a piece of writing. So you're using the writer's ideas, but you're not using just one little part of their idea. You're taking the main idea and you're putting it in your own words. So usually we see this with studies a lot, right? You want to bring in a study that is relevant to your research or relevant to your writing, and you want to show that you've read it and you know about it, but you're not going to go line by line talking about the study. So you summarize. You take the main idea of someone else's work and you put it in yours in your own words. You still must reference where you got it, though. The original material must be referenced. And summaries are going to be much shorter than the original source. So if you're taking a whole paper and writing 2 sentences about it, it's going to be much shorter. So the main thing to think about summaries is you're taking someone else's big idea, kind of like their whole paper or their whole study or a giant idea, and you are putting it in your own words, significantly shorter, and still giving them credit. So our last one, paraphrasing. Does anyone want to guess or tell me, how is paraphrasing different than summarizing? Anyone? Yeah.
You're only taking one idea, so it's not the main idea, only one part of it, though. Is it correct or not?
Very good, yes. So it's the same kind of thing. You're taking someone else's idea and you're writing it in your own words, but exactly, in this case, it's not the whole paper or the whole study or the whole main idea. It's more detailed. You're taking the specific part and putting it into your own words. And what do you have to do to make it not plagiarism? You have to reference the original source. Good. Every time you take someone else's idea and use it in your paper, you must reference where you got that idea. And paraphrasing could be longer than where you got it, or it could be shorter, because you're using your own words to express that idea and relate it to your claim. So it's not necessarily shorter, it's not necessarily longer. So we're going to practice some paraphrasing. Before we do, we want to give you some tips to make it easier, because a lot of people have trouble with paraphrasing. It's really hard to take someone else's words and rewrite them in your own words. So my number one tip for paraphrasing is this. Read what you want to use. So read the way someone else wrote the idea. Take notes on it. Really understand it, and then get it out of there. Because if it's in front of you, you're going to want to use the same words, and that's plagiarism. So for paraphrasing and what we're going to practice today, we're going to look at the idea or a quote, really figure out what is this person saying and how can I say it in my own words, and then put it away. So that's my number one tip for paraphrasing. Get used to taking notes on what you read, but not looking at it directly when you use that idea in your writing. More paraphrasing tips. If you can find linking phrases and expressions, so although, however, but, even though, those give you like a little tip at the main idea, at what that person is trying to say. In addition, there are verbs that establish a relationship between different sentences, and that will help you find the main idea and start thinking about how you can put it into your own words. So they have these little cheats. If you see these words, you can say, this is the main idea here. This is the part that I want to take and rephrase for my own purpose. And when you paraphrase, you want to determine the relevant points. What is it saying? How are these things related? And what does it mean? So we are going to practice some paraphrases in your groups. Let's see. Yeah.
Okay.
Did anyone bring their own writing? Like a 5-page selection of your own writing? Please raise your hand.
2, 3.
Okay.
Oh, awesome. Looks like 3 or 4 people. Okay, so for the people who brought your own writing, you don't need to use, there's a supplementary handout, and you don't need to use that. Just use your own writing. So before we move on to practicing paraphrasing, let's practice identifying these 3 things. If you have your own writing, please use your own writing. Take a look for how many quotations did I use, how many paraphrases did I use, and how many summaries did I use. For the rest of you, please look at the supplementary from Ohio State. Right? I think it's from Ohio
I think
State.
the supplementary is from, also from Ohio State, yeah.
Yeah, this one with the lines on the front page. This is the supplementary for people without any writing that they've done themselves. We're just going to spend 3 or 4 minutes identifying things in our own writing.
One more time, just to clarify. You're going to be looking either at your own writing or at the supplementary article and taking into mind what we just said about quotations, paraphrasing, and summary. We're going to kind of do what we did at the beginning again. See if you can find quotations, paraphrases, and summaries, and check, are you doing it correctly? Did you take someone else's idea and put it into your own words? And did you cite the author that it came from? Or if it's a quotation, did you use quotation marks and cite the author and the page number?
Okay, let's come back together. Thank you for that. I got a chance to look at some original writing, so thank you for everyone who brought your own writing. That's really awesome. So I just want to go over the 3 types again. There's direct quotation. That's when you're taking words from another source, and you're using those exact words in your paper. Then we have paraphrase. You're taking ideas from someone else, and you're putting them in your writing. And then we have summaries. You're taking main ideas from someone else, and you're putting them in your paper. All of them must have citations, If you're using your words, you don't need quotation marks. But if you're using someone else's words, even if you say, Heinzman declared that, and then you use his words, you must have quotation marks. If they're not yours, you must use quotation marks. Can I answer any questions about those three before we practice paraphrasing? Yes.
I want to ask about the page 645 in sample. There is second, according to Sims, 1995. This quotation is different from the other, so can you explain what kind of quotation is this? Thank you. And why quote like this? Thank you.
How is it different? What do you mean? What did you notice?
Like how this right in here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only quotation like this I found in this paper. The other is like there is a name and year, and the other is year and page. So how it is this quotation different from the other? Thank you.
So what we need when we take an idea or information from someone else is we need to cite who said it, so the author's name, and the year, typically. In this citation style, at least. I just want to let you know there are many different citation styles, but in this one, at least, you see that all of these should reference the author and the year. And if it is a direct quotation, it will also have page numbers. Otherwise, the author and the year are what you need for this citation style. So what this author did, what this writer did, was put Sims inside the sentence. So because they already said according to Sims, they don't need to put it in the parentheses again. So you still have who said it, Sims, and the year, 1995, but they kind of just did it in a different way. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Yes.
Do we always have to put the page or the pages? Because to my knowledge, it depends on the references style that we would like to use, like APA, MLA, Turabian, and any other types of references?
Exactly. So the most important thing to keep in mind here is in your discipline, there will probably be a citation style that is most popular. So we're kind of talking about plagiarism and paraphrasing and citations in general. But what I challenge you to do is go in your discipline. So if you are a marine scientist, read some marine science articles. If you are in education, read some education articles. And you will see a pattern. You will see the citation style that is most used there. And you want to match that. But what's going to be the same across all citation styles are that you have to give credit to the person who came up with that idea or said a direct quotation. So this is just one style, but yeah, you might put it in a different way. You might have footnotes. You might not need page numbers. So I would say for that one, just do some research on your own and figure out what is most common for you.
Okay, so let's move on to practice paraphrasing. So I'm going to give you two sentences, and I would like you to work in your groups with your partners first, actually. So find a partner, and then you will write a paraphrase of these two sentences, and then you're going to share your paraphrase with the other members of your group. So if you're in a group of 4, that's perfect. Just find a partner and share with the other partners in your group. And if you're in a group of 3 or 5, let's try to even out the groups, actually. I think we got some late people. So yeah.
Okay. So we're going to shift around a bit. So we have groups of 4, because a 4 is a nice even number. So can we get you four together? Okay, great. And then you four together? Great. You four, good. You four, and then you, 1, 2, 3. Can you come down? Thank you. And then you four back there.
Oh my
good.
gosh, that's perfect.
Perfect.